All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is the term project proposal assignment. And this assignment has a couple of very important purposes. Number one, it's to make sure you start really thinking about what your term project is going to be, your term paper and PowerPoint that you're going to create. And you really give it some thought starting now. And then we're going to do another assignment and then the final paper and PowerPoint later in the semester. But it takes a long time to put together a term paper, and I don't want you to wait to the very end. I want you to find some papers now. Uh, so look at the due date on this assignment. Make sure that you understand what this assignment is going to do. Now, you're not going to be giving a 5-minute oral presentation in the classroom uh, for this. It's going to be something that you create on your computer using Zoom, and then I can share those with the class if I decide to, or maybe just keep them for myself as extra credit work. We'll see how the oral presentation goes. Now, I already talked a little bit about this um, in the vegetable project section of the modules in the course content, the general course content at the top of the Canvas modules. You should have already seen that. If you haven't, stop looking at this now, go back and look at the vegetable project video and read that information that's in that section before tackling this assignment. I'll repeat some information that I said there, but essentially, right now, all I need from you is a paragraph or two. And I need some papers that you find in a works cited MLA formatted um, works cited section. I need MLA. Now, if you're somebody who already is doing science in another department and you prefer APA or CSE or another formatting style, just let me know. I'm very flexible about that. I'm actually much more a fan of CSE and APA than I am of MLA. But MLA tends to be the go-to standard for most classes at Hartnell, certainly in the humanities and English departments. That's what they go to. So that's what you're likely already exposed to. If you haven't already taken English 1A or some other class that requires MLA formatting, you need to do a little work. I talked about where to find some information on that, and you can even talk to the Panther Learning Lab to learn more, or talk to me as well. But I try to get students to utilize the Panther Learning Lab as much as possible. They are the tutorial center that's there for support. Please use them. They are not for the students who only need special help. They are for everybody. And I would say the students who use the Panther Learning Lab the most are frequently my A students. Um, you want to be like an A student? Use the Panther Learning Lab. Hint, hint. Anyway, so what is this assignment? Like I said, you're going to have something fairly short. You're just telling me what you're doing. And you're showing me that you found at least 3 papers that in some way support your topic. All of the papers you find don't have to be exactly about your topic. So, for example, if I'm doing a paper on breeding lettuce for downy mildew resistance, I don't need to find papers that are just about breeding lettuce for downy mildew resistance. I could find a paper that has to do with breeding lettuce in general, and it says something that is relevant to my topic. Or maybe a paper about downy mildew in general, or maybe a paper about chemical controls to prevent downy mildew that might say something relevant to my paper, something that helps me tell a story supported by actual research papers. And I say research papers, I do want you to focus on science, but because this is a class that is focused on vegetable crop production, I also accept non-research university papers and papers from professional journals that might not be peer reviewed, like there might be articles in the Packer, articles sent out by the Farm Bureau or some other organization. That's not peer reviewed. That's okay. And I can even accept papers in some cases from, or at least citations from the manufacturer's website. So, for example, if I'm doing downy mildew resistance and how to control it, uh, I might go to a chemical manufacturer site and say, this site talks about how to control it, blah, blah, blah. You tell a sentence or two of what's important on that website or that document that you downloaded from a commercial pesticide company's website. Is that peer reviewed data? No. Is that relevant to your story? Maybe. Cite it. That's okay. I just don't want a whole bunch of commercial stuff. I want science. This is a science class. All right. So you're going to be specific about one small issue of the crop you select. I do not want how to grow lettuce. That's way too big. That's a 200-page paper. I don't want conventional versus organic lettuce. Again, that's 50 pages. You might look at conventional versus organic methods to control verticillium in lettuce. Now that's specific because I'm talking about conventional versus organic, but I'm comparing them with respect to one disease or one insect or conventional nitrogen sources versus organic nitrogen sources for the production of spinach. Again, very focused. The most common problem I see with student proposals at this stage is you try to do way, 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 way too much. So my job is to narrow you down and focus you in. You're not sure? Talk to me. I've already given you my personal cell phone number. Send me a text. Say, hey, Triano, I need to talk. Can you call me? Or we can set up a Zoom meeting, whatever it takes. It's got to be really, really, really focused. So here are some examples. I'm not going to go through them. You can read, but here's some examples of something that might be very specific. So for this assignment, you're going to find some research papers using the methods that I showed you in the other previous video on your vegetable project, going to the ipm.ucdavis study2u, going to Academic Search Complete or EBSCOhost or Science Direct, find some papers, cite them. If you find them in one of the search tools like EBSCOhost or Science Direct, you can cite them very easily. Just click on the cite button. If you go to Google or ipm.ucdavis.edu, it might take a little bit more work, but there are many citation generators out there. Ask your friends, ask at the Panther Learning Lab. I don't have a particular favorite, but if you say citation generator in Google, you're going to come up with a lot of places to try. And they will help you build a citation. And you just give them the information that you have, and you tell them you want it in MLA format, and the citation generators generally do a pretty good job of giving you a reasonably good citation for use in this paper. But once you're done with this, you have a topic selected and you know there's information about it. And that's one of the tricks. You might have a great idea and say, I'm going to do it about this. And then you feel really confident about it. You write 2 paragraphs and then you throw in some really cheesy citations or things you really didn't read or didn't look at. You didn't make sure that they really had information that you could use. And then you find yourself, after ignoring your term project for 2 months, wow, I got to get that term project. It's due. And then you actually look at the papers and go, crap, I did a bad job on this project proposal. I don't have information that I want, and I can't find the information that I need to write this paper. When you're done with this assignment, you should already know that you have a good topic You have at least a good start on papers, and you know there's research and information out there to do it. Now, one last thing I do want to mention about the papers is that you really want a comparison. It's research. So you're comparing organic versus conventional. You're comparing this chemical control versus that chemical control. You're comparing breeding methods to find superior versus inferior lines that are resistant to a different disease. It's a type of comparison in most of the papers you're likely to find. So once you're done, once you've found some good papers, you're going to create a Microsoft Word document or a compatible document that you save from uh, any word processing document, Google Docs, um, uh, Macintosh Pages. Um, one nice freebie that I will mention. If I go to Apache Open Office, even Open Office will get you there, but Apache Open Office is the current name. And if I go to the download link, there it is. I can download a full program that is free. If this is a Microsoft Windows-based computer, this isn't for Mac, this isn't for Chromebooks, this isn't for an Android device, this is for Windows, but there are similar things on all platforms. This is free. It has a compatible program just like Microsoft Word, another compatible program that is very similar to Microsoft Excel, another one for PowerPoint, and a couple others as well. Free in case you need it. You can also check with the college. I think we have a Microsoft uh, license for Microsoft Office for Windows. I'm not sure what the current status is on that, but you can get a very, very low price or even free installation of that. If not, you can check the student and teacher version of Microsoft Office, which is also pretty cheap compared to getting the full-blown commercial version for somebody who's not a student or teacher. So what are you going to do? Your name, ABT96, and the date in the upper right-hand corner, single spaced. Again, attention to detail, follow the instructions, learn how to do certain things in Microsoft Word or your word processing application. You're going to type a clear descriptive title. It is not spinach or diseases of artichokes. Oh, hell no. That's a 100-page book. It's not diseases of artichokes. It is one particular disease that you are going to focus on how to deal with it, either conventionally, organically, maybe some genetic control of it, whatever, or irrigation methods to improve harvest quality of prickly pears, unas, higo chumbo, whatever you want to call it. So, clear descriptive title. 1 or 2 paragraphs describing your project. Include your works cited section with at least 3 references. I would prefer that you target 5, but 3 at least shows you found some stuff. Formatted in MLA. I am going to emphasize a web address is not a citation. Period. If your citation is http:// blah blah .edu, that is a web shortcut. It's part of your citation, but that is not an MLA citation, and I do not accept that as your works cited. I want it in MLA format, right? You don't know what that is, again, Panther Learning Lab, or do your research on the hartnell.edu/library or the Purdue University Online Writing Lab, OWL. And finally, you're going to save it as a docx or PDF, preferably a doc or docx. And when you finalized your decision, You should know the scientific name for the family, genus, and species of your selected crop, pathogen, and or pest. You should just know that. Hint, hint. It might be a question that I could ask you. So what is your crop? Oh, I'm doing lettuce. Well, okay, you're doing lettuce. What is it? Lactuca sativa. Oh, I'm doing sclerotinia. Are you doing sclerotinia major or minor? And, so there's sclerotinia sclerotiorum. And I want to know, is it that one? Which one? Verticillium, etc. Know the scientific name of the one thing you're dealing with. There'll be some scientific names you need to learn in this class, not a whole lot, but you need to know those things, all right? And that's it for this assignment. It is, something that is due fairly soon, but I'm giving you a couple weeks to get it done.